Hi everyone, and thank you again for joining us for ABA Day Digital 2020. As we transition from discussing the Legal Services Corporation, I'd like to draw your attention to an issue that's been plaguing homeless veterans for some time. You know, veterans often have small legal issues that keep them from the services that are designed to get them back on their feet. But unfortunately, the Department of Veterans Affairs isn't allowed to give any type of legal assistance to these homeless veterans at all. So to tell you a little bit more about this issue, I'd like to introduce the former Judge Advocate General for the Air Force JAG Corps and my current boss, ABA Executive Director, Jack Rives.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us online for ABA Day 2020 to advocate on issues that are important to our legal profession and that help ensure access to justice for those who may not be able to advocate for themselves. As many of you know, I am Jack Rives. I am proud to be the Executive Director of the American Bar Association. I am also proud to have served more than 30 years as a military attorney or judge advocate in the United States Air Force. In that capacity, I witnessed how the military and civilian legal communities work together to achieve amazing things. I am hoping that we can do that again today, this time on behalf of homeless veterans and veterans vulnerable to becoming homeless during the COVID-19 pandemic. I am a veteran working for the ABA, and I am not alone here. I am joined today by some former military colleagues currently on the ABA staff to help explain how you can help us fight for homeless veterans during the pandemic.
You know, homeless veterans have served in all our wars since World War II. There have been many reasons why a veteran may become homeless: economic hardship, disability, mental illness, and substance abuse, just to name a few. It takes a wide range of people and services to help get these men and women back on their feet. The problem is the common legal issues facing homeless veterans often makes them ineligible for housing or other programs and services that they need. If they just had access to legal assistance to help them with these problems, more veterans would be able to get their hard-earned benefits and maybe even avoid homelessness.
But did you know that the Department of Veterans Affairs, also called the VA, lacks the ability to fund legal assistance in any way? That is just not right, and we need your help to do something about it. This is even more important right now since not getting homeless veterans, or those in danger of becoming homeless, access to the legal help they need means that many of them will have a hard time finding shelter and find themselves in situations where they are more exposed and at a higher risk of complications from the coronavirus.
Besides being at risk of contracting COVID-19 on the streets or in crowded shelters, many veterans, like other Americans, are facing layoffs, evictions, or other economic hardships caused by the ongoing pandemic, which also increases the likelihood they'll become homeless. Many of these men and women need legal help to get or remain housed, access their benefits, and receive the care they earned by their sacrifice for our country. The good news is that the ABA is supporting two bipartisan bills that are currently going through Congress that would go a long way towards giving the VA much needed authority to fund legal services for veterans.
The VA, National Veteran Services Organizations, and the legal community are all united behind the Legal Services for Homeless Veterans Act in the House of Representatives and the Homeless Veterans Prevention Act in the Senate. If we can persuade Congress to finally pass these bills, it would go a long way towards getting the veterans the services that they have both earned and that they need. Passage of these bills will not increase the federal spending by one dime. Zero increase. Instead, passage of the bills will give the VA Secretary the authority that he needs to enter into partnerships with community organizations for the sole purpose of providing legal services to homeless veterans.
As innocuous as that is, the Bipartisan Legal Services for Homeless Veterans Act has been introduced in each Congress since 2013 and passed the Senate twice. But anonymous opposition stonewalled consideration of this legislation in the House until now. Finally, after all these years, in February 2020, the act finally passed in the House of Representatives. While this is something to celebrate, the fight is far from over. The prospects for the bill in the Senate look positive, but recently progress has stalled. Our concern is that any further delay or a subsequent closed-door conference in committee could leave the legislation vulnerable once again.
This is where you come in. We need you to go to our webpage at ambar.org/ABA-Day-Digital and use our online tools to send pre-formatted emails, social media posts, and patch through phone calls to contact your elected members of Congress. Tell them to give the Veterans Administration the authority to fund legal assistance for veterans who are homeless or at risk of homelessness, so that they can overcome legal barriers that keep them from accessing the range of programs and services that Congress has already authorized and funded for them.
While on our website, you can explore other advocacy campaigns for ABA Day this year. Funding for the Legal Services Corporation, preservation of the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, and expanding broadband access to rural America. Join us today to fight for all of these ABA Day issues. But join us right now to urge Congress, and especially the United States Senate, to finally give the VA Secretary the authority that he needs to fund legal services for homeless veterans or for those veterans who are at imminent risk of becoming homeless.
On behalf of the legal and military communities, I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you're a veteran, thank you for your service.
Thank you for joining your voices with ours on behalf of veterans during this historically challenging time. This is our chance to communicate directly with our elected officials and explain just how important it is to give the VA the authority and the discretion to fund legal services for veterans. Now, let's all take action online and show Congress what a united legal and military front can do.